Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this really fascinating book by George Gurdjieff.
Oh, yeah.
And it really kind of grapples with these really complex ideas about humanity's place in the universe. And I have a feeling you're going to find this deep dive really thought-provoking.
Yeah, what's so captivating about this book is how it weaves these ideas into a cosmological framework.
Okay.
It's not just about philosophy or spirituality like in isolation.
Right.
It connects those concepts to a larger understanding of the universe.
Okay.
And our place within it.
I'm already intrigued. How does the book actually present these concepts?
Yeah.
Is it a straightforward?
It's not straightforward at all.
Okay.
It takes the form of a story,
Okay.
a narrative told by this character Beelzebub to his grandson.
Interesting.
Through this storytelling approach, Gurdjieff unveils his ideas in a way that's both engaging and thought-provoking.
I love that.
Yeah.
It makes these potentially dense topics much more approachable.
Right.
So what are some of the key concepts that Beelzebub shares with his grandson?
Well, one of the central ideas is that humans are what Gurdjieff calls three-brained beings, meaning we have three centers of intelligence,
Gotcha.
intellectual, emotional, and physical.
Okay.
And the book suggests that most of us aren't fully aware of these different centers and how they interact,
Okay.
which can lead to internal conflicts and a sense of being fragmented.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We've all experienced that.
Right.
That inner struggle between our head, our heart,
Yeah,
and our gut instincts.
absolutely.
So how do we become more aware of these different centers?
So Gurdjieff emphasizes the practice of self-remembering,
Okay.
which involves cultivating a heightened awareness of ourselves in the present moment.
Okay.
It's about noticing our thoughts,
Okay.
feelings, and sensations without judgment,
Right.
becoming more conscious of how these three centers are operating within us.
So it's like taking a step back from the constant chatter of our minds.
Exactly.
And simply observing what's happening within us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And through this practice of self-observation, we can begin to understand the interplay of these centers
Okay.
and start to make more conscious choices
Yeah.
rather than simply reacting to our impulses.
I see how they could be incredibly empowering.
Yeah,
If we're not aware of these internal dynamics, we're essentially at their mercy.
exactly.
But if we can cultivate that awareness,
Yeah,
we can start to steer the ship, so to speak.
precisely. Gurdjieff suggests that this increased awareness is essential
Okay.
for our personal evolution and for breaking free from the limitations of what he calls sleep,
Okay.
a state of being where we're not fully conscious of ourselves
Right.
or our potential.
Okay, so we have these three centers of intelligence.
Right.
And most of us are operating in a kind of sleepwalking state.
Yeah.
What else does Beelzebub discuss with his grandson?
Another intriguing concept is the law of sevenfoldness. Okay.
This law describes a universal principle that governs the unfolding of processes in the universe
Right.
and in our lives.
Okay.
It's based on the idea of octaves,
Okay.
a series of 7 steps with intervals where additional shocks are needed
Okay.
to move to the next level.
I'm going to need a bit more explanation on that one.
Sure.
It sounds a bit abstract.
Think of it like climbing a staircase.
Okay.
You can't just float effortlessly from one step to the next.
Right.
You need to exert a certain amount of effort,
Okay.
that kind of shock to propel yourself upward.
Yeah.
And in many processes, there are natural points of resistance,
Okay.
these intervals,
Okay.
where an extra push is required to overcome inertia
Right.
and continue progressing.
So it's like those moments when we hit a plateau in our personal growth
That's a great way to put it.
or in a project we're working on.
Yeah.
We need to find that extra burst of energy or inspiration
Right.
to push through the resistance and reach the next level.
That's a great way to put it.
And the book suggests that understanding this law of sevenfoldness
Okay.
can help us navigate these challenges more effectively
Right.
by recognizing these natural intervals
Yeah.
and preparing for the shocks that are needed.
Right.
We can move through them with greater ease and understanding.
That's really insightful.
Yeah.
It's like having a roadmap for personal growth.
Exactly.
Understanding the terrain and the challenges we're likely to encounter.
Exactly. And the book provides examples of how this law manifests in various aspects of life,
Okay.
from the evolution of consciousness to the development of civilizations, even in music and art.
It's fascinating to think about this underlying pattern
Yeah.
that seems to connect so many seemingly unrelated phenomena.
It is, and this is where the book's cosmological perspective becomes really intriguing.
Okay.
It suggests that these principles aren't just abstract ideas,
Right.
but reflections of how the universe itself operates. We're not just isolated individuals.
Right.
We're part of a much larger web of interconnected processes.
That's a powerful concept.
It is.
It makes me wonder what other forces might be influencing our lives
Right.
and our evolution.
Well, that brings us to another intriguing concept in the book.
Okay.
The idea of cosmic influences.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more about these cosmic influences.
The book suggests that there are various forces and energies emanating from different sources in the universe.
Okay.
And these influences affect not just individuals, but entire planets and civilizations.
Gotcha.
These influences can be both beneficial and harmful,
Okay.
depending on how we align ourselves with them.
So it's like we're swimming in a sea of cosmic energies.
Exactly.
And these energies are shaping our lives in subtle ways.
Exactly. And Gurdjieff suggests that by becoming more aware of these influences,
Okay.
we can learn to navigate them more skillfully.
Right.
And even harness them for our personal growth.
That's a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
It reminds me of certain spiritual traditions that talk about aligning ourselves with the natural rhythms of the universe.
There are definitely connections there.
Yeah.
The book draws on wisdom from various traditions,
Right.
but it also presents a unique and compelling synthesis of these ideas.
I'm starting to see how this book challenges us to think differently about ourselves
Yeah,
and our place in the cosmos.
absolutely.
It's not just about personal development.
Right.
It's about understanding our interconnectedness with the universe as a whole.
That's a key insight, and it's this broader perspective that makes the book so thought-provoking
Right.
and relevant even today.
Okay, I'm officially hooked.
Great.
What else can you tell me about these cosmic influences?
One of the most striking ideas is the concept of the Kunda buffer.
The Kunda buffer.
Yeah.
What is that?
According to the book, the Kunda buffer was an organ that was once present in humans,
Okay.
but is now absent.
Interesting.
It's described as having distorted our perception of reality
Oh.
and contributed to the development of negative traits like egoism and vanity.
So it's like a built-in source of negativity that was removed from humanity at some point in our evolution.
That's the idea presented in the book.
Wow.
And while the organ itself is no longer present,
Right.
its influence is said to linger,
Okay.
creating a kind of residue of negativity
Gotcha.
that we still grapple with today.
That's a really intriguing concept. So how do we overcome this lingering negativity?
The book emphasizes the importance of developing conscience.
Okay.
It describes conscience as a higher moral sense
Okay.
that can guide our actions and help us counteract the pull of egoism and negativity.
So it's like conscience is the antidote to the Kunda buffer's legacy,
That's a great way to understand it.
helping us make choices that are aligned with our higher nature.
Conscience, in Gurdjieff's view,
Right.
is not just about following rules or societal norms.
Yeah.
It's about developing an inner compass
Right.
that guides us towards a more conscious and ethical way of being.
I'm really starting to appreciate the depth and complexity of these ideas. It's
Yeah.
like peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing new insights with each layer.
That's great.
What else does the book have to say about conscience and how we develop it?
Well, it emphasizes the importance of self-work,
Okay.
which involves conscious efforts to overcome negative tendencies
Okay.
and evolve towards a higher state of being.
Right.
This includes practices like self-observation,
Right.
introspection,
Okay.
and working with others who are also engaged in this journey of self-discovery.
It sounds like a lifelong process of refining ourselves
It is.
and aligning our actions with our higher aspirations.
It is. And the book suggests that this inner work is not just about personal fulfillment. It's also about contributing to the evolution of humanity as a whole.
Okay, that's a really powerful idea. It's like our individual efforts at self-improvement
Right.
have a ripple effect, influencing the world around us
Absolutely.
and contributing to a larger collective transformation.
Exactly. Gurdjieff's vision is ultimately one of hope and possibility. He believed that humans have the potential to reach a much higher level of consciousness, but it requires conscious effort
Right.
and a willingness to question our assumptions
Yeah.
about ourselves and the world.
This is all so fascinating. I'm eager to hear more about Gurdjieff's ideas
Great.
and how they can be applied in our lives.
There's much more to explore. We've only just begun to scratch the surface
Right.
of this rich and complex system of thought.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see where it takes us next.
I am excited to continue this journey with you. Picking up where we left off, the book also explores how these concepts of consciousness and cosmic influences play out in different areas of human life, like history and culture.
Okay, so we're moving from the individual level to a more societal perspective.
Right.
What insights does the book offer in this regard?
One of the fascinating aspects is Beelzebub's perspective on historical events
Okay.
and how they have shaped human consciousness. He travels to Earth and shares observations from different historical periods and cultures.
It's like having a cosmic historian,
Right.
someone who can see the big picture of human evolution across time.
Mm.
What are some of the key events or periods that Beelzebub highlights?
He talks about Atlantis,
Yeah.
describing its sinking as a pivotal event
Okay.
that led to a significant shift in human consciousness.
Right.
It's presented as a time when a more harmonious way of life was lost,
Okay.
leading to a more fragmented and ego-driven existence.
The story of Atlantis is often shrouded in mystery and speculation.
Mm,
It's interesting to see how it's woven into this larger narrative about human evolution.
exactly. And it serves as a reminder that civilizations rise and fall,
Right.
and that these cycles often reflect shifts in collective consciousness.
Yeah.
It prompts us to consider what lessons we can learn from the past so we don't repeat the same mistakes.
It makes you wonder if we're at a similar turning point in our own time.
That's a question the book encourages us to contemplate.
Yeah.
Are we heading towards greater integration and awareness,
Right.
or are we falling deeper into fragmentation and division?
Those are definitely some big questions. What other historical periods does Beelzebub discuss?
He also talks about ancient Egypt,
Okay.
highlighting its unique spiritual traditions and the wisdom of its people.
Okay.
He seems to see it as a time when humans had a deeper connection to the cosmos
Right.
and a more developed understanding of spiritual principles.
Ancient Egypt is often associated with mystery and esoteric knowledge.
Right.
What kind of insights does Beelzebub offer into this civilization?
He suggests that they understood the importance of aligning themselves with cosmic forces,
Okay.
that their spiritual practices were designed to cultivate a higher level of consciousness.
So it's not just about pyramids and pharaohs,
Right.
but about a deeper understanding of the human being's place in the universe.
Precisely, Beelzebub's observations challenge us to look beyond the surface of history
Okay.
and to consider the deeper forces at play in the rise and fall of civilizations.
What other cultures or civilizations does he talk about?
He also discusses various Asian cultures,
Yeah.
emphasizing their focus on spiritual practices and inner development.
Okay.
He seems to admire these traditions, seeing them as valuable pathways towards a more conscious and spiritually evolved existence.
It's like he's pointing to a common thread that runs through different spiritual traditions throughout history.
Right.
A recognition of the importance of inner transformation as a key to individual and collective evolution.
That's a great observation, and it highlights the book's message that while outer circumstances may change, the inner work of self-development remains essential across time and cultures.
Okay, so we've explored history.
Yeah.
What about other areas of human society? What insights does the book offer into things like education, science, and art?
The book offers a critique of these systems,
So-
suggesting that they have often become distorted or unbalanced,
Okay.
neglecting the inner development of the individual.
Let's start with education. What kind of critique does Beelzebub offer?
He argues that education on Earth often focuses on rote memorization and conformity,
Okay.
failing to foster genuine understanding, critical thinking,
Right?
and the development of the whole being.
Right.
He suggests that true education should cultivate the intellectual, emotional, and physical centers,
Okay.
encouraging a sense of wonder and curiosity in young people.
It sounds like he's advocating for an approach to education that goes beyond simply filling our heads with facts and figures.
Right.
It's about nurturing our capacity for independent thought and self-directed learning.
Exactly. He sees education as a process of awakening the individual's potential,
Okay.
helping them to become conscious, responsible, and contributing members of society.
That's a really powerful vision. It makes me think about how our current education systems are falling short of that ideal.
It's a challenge to create educational environments that truly support the development of conscious and compassionate human beings.
Right.
But Beelzebub's perspective reminds us that this is a goal worth striving for.
Okay, what about science? How does the book view the role of science in human life?
Beelzebub acknowledges the value of scientific inquiry,
Okay.
but suggests that science on Earth has become too narrow in its focus,
Okay.
often losing sight of the interconnectedness of all things.
Okay.
He argues that true science should encompass a broader understanding of reality,
Right.
one that integrates the spiritual and material dimensions.
So it's not about rejecting science altogether, but about expanding its scope to include a more holistic perspective.
Precisely, he suggests that science has become too focused on analysis and dissection,
Oh.
neglecting the importance of synthesis and understanding the whole.
Okay.
It's like focusing on individual trees without seeing the forest.
That's a great analogy. It makes me wonder if our obsession with specialization and data has led us astray from a deeper understanding of the universe and our place within it.
That's a question the book encourages us to consider.
Yeah.
It challenges us to reevaluate our assumptions about science and to explore ways to integrate it with a more spiritual and holistic worldview.
Okay, we've covered education and science.
Mm-hmm.
What about art? How does the book view the role of art in human life?
Beelzebub sees art as having the potential to both elevate and degrade human consciousness.
Okay.
He argues that true art should inspire and uplift,
Okay.
connecting us to something higher and more meaningful.
Right.
But he cautions against art that is superficial, sensationalistic, or designed to manipulate our emotions.
So it's not just about aesthetics or entertainment value.
Sure.
It's about the impact art has on our inner state and on our perception of the world.
Exactly. He sees art as a powerful force that can shape our values
Right.
and our understanding of ourselves and the universe.
Yeah.
He suggests that we should be more discerning about the art we consume,
Okay.
seeking out forms that nourish our souls and inspire us to live more consciously.
It makes you think about the different forms of art we're exposed to today.
Right.
And the messages they're conveying, are they uplifting us or pulling us down?
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
Beelzebub's perspective challenges us to be more conscious consumers of art,
Right.
seeking out works that align with our higher aspirations and contribute to our inner growth.
Okay, so we've explored Beelzebub's critique of education, science, and art.
Mm-hmm.
What's the underlying thread that connects these different areas of human society?
He seems to be pointing to a fundamental imbalance in the way we've structured our lives and our institutions.
Okay.
He sees a disconnect from nature,
Right.
an overemphasis on material pursuits,
Okay.
and a neglect of the inner work of self-development.
It's like we've created a society that prioritizes external achievements and material possessions over inner growth and spiritual connection.
That's a key insight, and he suggests that this imbalance has led to a decline in human consciousness.
Right.
And a loss of connection to our true nature.
Okay, so he's identified the problem.
Right.
What solutions does he offer? Does he believe we can course correct and create a more balanced and harmonious society?
He does. He suggests that we have the potential to evolve towards a more conscious and fulfilling way of life.
Okay.
But it requires conscious effort and a willingness to change,
Right.
both individually and collectively.
What kind of changes does he advocate for?
He emphasizes the importance of self-work spiritual development
Okay.
and a reconnection to our true nature.
Right.
He suggests that this inner transformation is the foundation for creating a more conscious and compassionate society.
It's like he's saying that the change we want to see in the world starts with each of us.
Exactly. He believed that true change begins within the individual.
Yeah.
That as more people awaken to their potential,
Right.
it will naturally create a ripple effect,
Right.
influencing the world around them.
Okay. That's really inspiring.
Right.
So it's not just about critiquing the problems of our society.
Right.
It's about offering a path forward, a vision for a more conscious and fulfilling way of being.
Precisely. And it's this combination of critique and vision that makes the book so compelling. It's a wake-up call, but it's also a call to action, an invitation to participate in the evolution of consciousness.
This is all so insightful. It's giving me a whole new perspective on the challenges and opportunities facing humanity.
And there's still more to explore.
Okay.
The book delves into even deeper concepts,
Okay.
offering a truly unique perspective on the nature of reality and the human being's place in the cosmos.
I'm eager to hear more. What other fascinating insights does Beelzebub offer?
Well, one particularly intriguing aspect is his discussion of the Okidanok.
Okidonic.
Yeah.
That's a new one for me. What is this substance?
He describes it as the fundamental substance from which everything in the universe is made,
Okay.
from the smallest particles to the largest stars.
Okay.
It's like the building block of the cosmos, but it's also a dynamic force that is constantly flowing and transforming.
Okay, that's a pretty big concept.
Yeah.
How does he explain this substance?
He explains that Okidanak exists in three forms:
Okay.
affirming, denying, and reconciling. The affirming force is associated with creation, growth, and expansion.
Okay.
The denying force is associated with destruction, decay, and contraction.
Gotcha.
And the reconciling force brings these two opposing forces into balance and harmony.
So it's like a cosmic dance of creation and destruction,
That's a beautiful way to put it.
with a balancing force keeping everything in check.
And he suggests that these three forces are at play not just in the universe as a whole,
Right.
but also within each individual human being.
Okay.
We each have these affirming, denying, and reconciling forces operating within us.
So we're like microcosms of the universe,
Exactly.
reflecting these same cosmic principles within our own being.
And the book suggests that understanding these forces and how they operate within us is essential for our spiritual development.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this concept of Okidanak ties into the book's overall message about consciousness and evolution.
It does. It provides a framework for understanding the interconnectedness of all things,
Right.
the constant flow of creation and destruction, and the potential for transformation within each individual.
This is all so mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how this book challenges us to think differently about ourselves and the world around us.
Yeah.
It's not just about personal development. It's about understanding our place in the grand scheme of things, our connection to the cosmos and to all of creation.
That's a great way to summarize it. The book invites us to expand our awareness,
Yeah.
to see ourselves not just as isolated individuals,
Right.
but as integral parts of a vast and interconnected universe.
This deep dive is really pushing the boundaries of my understanding. I'm eager to hear more about this Okidanak and how it relates to our lives. What else does Beelzebub have to say about it?
He explains that Okidanak is constantly flowing throughout the universe,
Okay.
creating and destroying, evolving and devolving
Okay.
in an eternal dance of transformation.
So it's not a static substance, but a dynamic force.
Precisely. And he suggests that this flow of Okidanak is what gives rise to all the different forms and phenomena we see in the world around us,
Right.
including the evolution of consciousness.
So it's like everything is in constant flux, constantly changing and transforming.
That's a fundamental principle in the book.
Yeah.
It challenges us to embrace the impermanence of life
Yeah.
and to appreciate the beauty of each passing moment.
It's a reminder to let go of attachments to fixed ideas
Exactly.
and to be open to the ever-changing nature of reality.
Exactly. And it also highlights the interconnectedness of all things.
Right.
As Okidanak flows and transforms, it connects everything in the universe,
Right.
weaving a web of relationships and interdependencies.
Wow, that's a beautiful image. It's like we're all part of a grand cosmic tapestry woven together by the threads of Okidanak.
That's a great way to visualize it, and it underscores the importance of recognizing our interconnectedness
Yeah.
and acting in ways that benefit not just ourselves, but the whole web of life.
Okay, this is all pretty mind-blowing.
Mm.
I'm starting to see how Okidanak serves as a foundational concept for understanding the book's cosmology and its teachings about human evolution.
It does. It provides a framework for understanding the interconnectedness of all things, the
Right.
constant flow of creation and destruction,
Right.
and the potential for conscious transformation within each individual.
This deep dive is really opening my eyes to a whole new way of seeing the world.
Mhm.
It's both humbling and empowering to realize that we're part of something so much bigger than ourselves.
It is, and the book suggests that by becoming more aware of this interconnectedness and aligning ourselves with these cosmic forces,
Right.
we can tap into a greater source of wisdom and power.
This has been an incredible journey so far. I'm eager to continue exploring these ideas and see what other insights await us.
Me too. There's still much more to uncover in this rich and complex book. So, we were talking about cosmic influences earlier.
You saw back to that.
It's worth exploring a little bit further,
Yeah, it's
Have-
such a fascinating concept, and I'm curious to hear more about how it connects to everything else we've been discussing.
The book explains that there are, numerous forces and energies emanating from different cosmic sources.
Right.
These influences affect not only individuals, but entire planets and
Right.
civilizations.
Gotcha.
It's a much broader perspective than simply looking at astrological correspondences.
So it's like we're all embedded within this intricate web of cosmic energies,
That's a great way to think about it.
constantly being shaped by these unseen forces.
And the book suggests that these influences can be both beneficial and harmful,
Right.
depending on how we align ourselves with them.
Okay.
It's not about being passive recipients, but about developing an understanding of these forces so we can work with them consciously.
That makes sense. It's like learning to sail a boat.
Exactly.
We can't control the wind, but we can learn to harness its power
Right.
and navigate effectively.
Right, precisely. And just as a skilled sailor can use the wind to their advantage.
Right.
We can learn to work with cosmic influences to support our personal growth and evolution.
So how do we do that? How do we
Yeah.
become more aware of these cosmic influences and learn to navigate them skillfully?
The book emphasizes the importance of self-observation and introspection,
Okay.
along with working with others who have a deeper understanding of these principles.
Right.
It suggests that guidance from teachers or mentors can be invaluable in this process.
I can see how having a guide could be helpful, especially when dealing with something as subtle and complex as cosmic energies. What else does the book have to say about these influences?
It explains that different cultures and civilizations throughout history have developed their own ways of understanding and working with these energies.
Right.
Ancient cultures, like the Egyptians and the Tibetans, for example,
Right.
had sophisticated systems of knowledge and practices for harnessing cosmic forces.
It's fascinating to think about how different cultures have viewed these energies and integrated them into their lives.
It is, and the book suggests that we can learn a lot from these traditions,
Right.
even if we don't adopt them wholesale.
Right.
It's about finding what resonates with us and adapting it to our own understanding.
So it's about integrating ancient wisdom with modern knowledge, creating a more holistic approach to life that takes into account both the seen and unseen forces that shape our experience.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're not just isolated individuals, but part of a vast and interconnected web of life,
Yeah.
influenced by forces that extend far beyond our immediate perception.
This deep dive has really expanded my understanding of the interconnectedness of everything.
Good.
It's both humbling and empowering to realize that we're part of something so much bigger than ourselves.
It is, and the book suggests that by becoming more aware of this interconnectedness and aligning ourselves with these cosmic forces,
Yeah.
we can tap into a greater source of wisdom and power.
This has been an incredible journey.
Yeah, me too.
It feels like we've only just begun to scratch the surface of this book and its profound insights.
We have, but hopefully this deep dive has given you a glimpse into the richness and complexity of Gurdjieff's teachings and inspired you to continue exploring.
It definitely has. It's challenged me to think differently about myself, the world, and my place within the grand scheme of things. Who knows what other deep dives await us out there? Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.